Hello and welcome to the Reformed Week for your Living Christian Movements class. My name is Michael Wilson, and I wanted to welcome you to this week, give you a little bit of an overview of what we'll be doing this week, and let you know a little bit about myself. I'm a pastor in the Presbyterian Church USA. I was ordained in 1996, actually in this area. Spent 4.5 years as an associate pastor in Atlanta, Georgia, and then just about 15 years as the pastor of the Chestnut Level Presbyterian Church in southern Lancaster County. That will be one of the churches, actually, that I'll do a little video introduction to during this class for you. For the past 4 years, I have been stated clerk of the Presbytery of Donegal. Presbytery of Donegal is a district of Presbyterian churches. It's all the Presbyterian churches, PCUSA churches in York and Lancaster and Chester County. And with one church in Harford County, Maryland, there are 48 congregations and just about 12,500 Presbyterians who are part of that presbytery. My role as stated clerk is to support those congregations, to help them in searches, to be available to intervene in difficulties, and also to help guide the combined mission and ministry of that congregation. I do a lot of support of pastors and help them to discover how to do ministry in this day and age. In terms of my academic interest, I have a Doctor of Ministry from Fuller Theological Seminary in missional leadership. I consider myself a missiologist, very interested in how the church enters into mission, particularly in North America, in a rapidly changing age. And many of you have had me in class and would know some of those interests of mine. I'm a PhD student at the Vrije University of Amsterdam, where I'm studying what we call missional ecclesiology. It's the history of Reformed decision-making. My academic interests really are around how leaders can be equipped to serve the mission of Jesus Christ in this day and age, again, particularly in North America, although one of my core convictions is that we are well served when we take into account our own sociological background and when we're informed by what God's doing around the world, because we believe that God is not just active, nor has ever been primarily or only active in North America or in the European Christian traditions. I've been teaching at Lancaster Theological Seminary since 2008. I teach the Presbyterian polity class, and for the last several years, I've taught or co-taught the developing leaders class, which every incoming student takes. So for many of you, we'll have spent time together, and I'm very much looking forward to reconnecting. If we haven't met, I'm looking forward to meeting you and getting to know you and finding out what you're learning and what you're discovering. In terms of our week together, there are a number of assignments for you to do. The very first thing that I would like you to do is to take some time and write down 3 things, ideas, concepts, what comes to mind for you when you think of the Reformed or Presbyterian traditions. There's no right or wrong answer to that. I'd like you to jot that down and then to save that. When we gather for our time together, I'm going to ask us to go around, if we hopefully share our screens, share those thoughts, and just kind of gather up some initial thoughts about what comes to our minds when we think of Presbyterianism or the Reformed tradition. Then we can use that as kind of a basis for our conversation as we explore what I've said, what you've read, what other questions that come to mind for you. There are then 3 videos that I've recorded: an introduction to the Reformed tradition, which is kind of an overview of a little bit about what broadly the Reformed tradition is, but also specifically what the Presbyterian Church USA brings to that conversation, some history specifically of the Presbyterian Church USA, and then what I see as present opportunities and challenges for the Presbyterian Church and thus the Reformed tradition. I'd like you to watch those 3 videos. They're relatively short. I've also gone to 3 sanctuaries and done a brief recording of me in the sanctuary talking about the sanctuary and what Reformed worship looks like in that space. That'll give us an opportunity to have a concretely focused conversation about particularly what worship looks like in the Reformed tradition and how that informs what the Reformed tradition is, theologically who we are, missiologically who we are, and I'm hoping that gives us some interesting kind of common texts, basically, for us to have conversations. There is then a post that I would like you to do where you can see the specific question, but I want you to do some compare and contrast between your own tradition and the Reformed tradition, or if you are from the Reformed tradition, what you're uncovering either in terms of questions, what are connections, what are things that are divergences between you and where the Reformed tradition is these days. And then a small post where just any questions that are coming to mind that you can put them there. And again, that'll help us, I think, have a robust conversation when we are together. My email is mwilson@lancasterseminary.edu. I'm certainly available for phone or for emails and for any questions that you have during this week or beyond. Look forward to seeing you this week and wish you well as we all learn to inhabit this digital environment and learn how to work together.